Alright, so by now I'm sure you've heard about this, but just in case you haven't, there's a ton of leaks and spoilers about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 coming out right now. The review embargo's been lifted, so there's been a ton of people posting their thoughts about the movie. My review's coming next week, by the way, since nobody wants to give me early access yet. And it's already been released overseas in a few different locations, so people have been posting all sorts of cool stuff about it. So let's not waste any time here. I'm super excited to break down all of the Easter eggs, references, and cameos in this movie. So let's check it out. Before I do though, major spoiler warning for the rest of this video. If you want to go in blind, click away right now. Alright, everybody good? Good, let's go. So the first thing I want to get into is Howard the Duck. You remember Howard, right?
Every duck's got his limit, and you scum have pushed me over the line.
Oh, no, not that one.
What do you let it lick you like that for? Gross.
Yep, there we go, much better. The Master of Quack Fu showed up in a post-credit scene in the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but this time he actually shows up in the movie itself. Nothing special from what I'm hearing, it's just a quick shot of him in a bar trying to pick up some space babes. He does have some lines though. Apparently it's a pickup line, something to the tune of, "You're out of luck until you go duck," or "Once you go quack, you never go back," something like that, I don't know. Both versions have been floating around out there, so I really don't know which one it is. Just in case you're wondering if any other animals from the first movie make a comeback, no, there's no Cosmo in this one. I know, it's really disappointing. Anyways, Ego obviously also appears in this movie, and I can safely confirm that he shows up on screen not just as Kurt Russell, but also as his traditional giant planet self. Seriously, this is what he looks like in the movie. Now, I know he looks pretty comic accurate here, but the explanation given as to why he's a planet with a face on it is a little bit different. Instead of him being a guy who merged with a planet during a supernova, or being a planet formed by the cosmic entity the Stranger, like in the comics, this time Ego is apparently a celestial who formed a shell around his brain, which eventually turned into a planet, from which he created a Kurt Russell looking guy in order to visit Earth and be around people as part of his master plan to turn planets into extensions of himself or assimilate them into the collective. Any Next Generation fans out there? No? Oh, okay. Seriously though, the new origin actually does sound pretty interesting and a lot simpler for people who haven't read the comics. And according to people who've seen the movie, it sounds like James Gunn shows off Ego's abilities of matter manipulation and shapeshifting pretty well. For example, once it's revealed he's the bad guy in the movie, Ego temporarily takes the form of David Hasselhoff. You can actually see Hasselhoff again during the end credits right before Stan Lee's cameo, but we'll get into those in a little bit. Anyway, Yondu dies. No, seriously, he helps kill Ego only to suffocate in space while helping Star-Lord escape the blast. What a sad ending for the guy who kept bringing up the fact that his people wanted to eat a little boy they abducted.
When I picked you up on Terra, these boys of mine wanted to eat you. These boys wanted to eat you. I stopped them. You're alive, causing me.
Like in the first movie, Star-Lord ends up opening a gift from a dead family member. Yeah, I'm counting Yondu as family, what about it? And discovers that he was given a new music playing device to listen off of. And it turns out it's a Zune. If you don't remember what that is, basically it was a slightly different iPod back when iPods already had an established solid foothold in the portable music market. So thanks for nothing, Yondu. Moving on, Jeff Goldblum makes a surprise appearance as the Grandmaster during the end credits, obviously setting up his future appearance in Thor Ragnarok. You might remember this as being extremely similar to how the Collector first popped up in a mid-credit scene for 2014's Thor: The Dark World, when Sif and Volstagg visited the Collector on Nowhere and dropped off the Reality Stone. And in case you're wondering, yes, it turns out Goldblum's Grandmaster is just as weird as the Collector. See, the entire cast is dancing to the credits to whatever music's playing over them, and some eagle-eyed audience members spotted Goldblum doing some kind of weird finger-waving dance thing in the background in what's being described as a blink and you'll miss it cameo. So keep your eyes peeled for that when you go check out this movie. And finally, let's talk about the post-credit scenes. I mean, there's 5 of them. Everybody's been trying to figure out what James Gunn could have possibly slipped in this movie, considering what he did last time.
Gross.
Before I get into this, I just want to point out, this is the scene order I've been seeing in a few places. It could be different depending on where you live. So just keep that in mind. Anyways, the first scene is a pretty hefty one. It showcases Sylvester Stallone's Starhawk reassembling his old team, the original Guardians of the Galaxy. So in case you didn't know, back in 1969, Marvel introduced this new team of superheroes called the Guardians of the Galaxy, consisting of Starhawk, who could fire concentrated beams of light, Charlie 27, who has superhuman strength due to being born and raised on Jupiter, the other Starhawk, Krugar, a former student of Doctor Strange, Martin X Tanaga, a guy from Pluto who could emit heat and cold from his hands, Yondu, and Mainframe, an alternate universe version of the Vision. They were formed in this alternate future of the Marvel Universe, but they got to time travel a couple times, and it was actually because of them that this modern version of the Guardians even have their team name in the first place. Overall, these guys were actually pretty cool. I can do a video about them in the future if you guys want to know more about them. Anyways, like I said, Stallone's playing original Guardians member Starhawk, and he gathers up his former teammates teammates Charlie 27, played by Ving Rhames, the other Starhawk, played by Michelle Yeoh, Krugar, he's just a CGI character, I don't really think anybody did any motion capture for him or something like that, Martin X Tanaga, played by Michael Rosenbaum, and Mainframe, voiced by Miley Cyrus. I know, that's kind of a weird choice. None of them really look like they do in the comics, and by that I mean they don't get to wear their costumes or anything like that, but they're still really cool to see on screen. Not to mention, we do see Krugar manipulating energy in a way that looks extremely similar to the spells sorcerers used throughout Doctor Strange, which is most likely a reference to him being Strange's apprentice in the comics, as I mentioned earlier. For the MCU, I bet this is probably going to be explained away as just something his species can do naturally, or powers he developed by complete accident, or something like that. Either way, I highly doubt he's going to be a disciple of Doctor Strange in these movies, unless Marvel feels like having Strange give him some pointers when everybody meets up in Avengers Infinity War. Moving on, in the next scene, Aisha's back on the Sovereign homeworld looking pretty messed up and frustrated that she wasn't able to kill the Guardians, but she reveals that she still has a secret weapon, showing off this ornate looking, big gold sarcophagus looking thing, and announces that she made somebody that's going to be able to kill the Guardians, eventually settling on naming this mystery creation of hers Adam. Now, in case the name didn't tip you off, this is our first big reveal of Adam Warlock in the MCU. Holy hell, you guys, that's awesome! James Gunn actually claimed a while back that there was a big character he originally wanted to include in this movie, but he had to cut due to the script getting too big, stating, "I'll say one major thing that happened during the treatment phase. Not even during the script phase. During the treatment phase, there was another character that was a major character. That was a part of the treatment. Although it kind of worked generally in the story, I got to the place where there were too many characters. I think Civil War handles a lot of characters really well, but they're minor characters. And in this movie, every character has their own arc, their own thing. And I thought it was one character too many, so I took one of the characters out of the story about halfway through the treatment phase." He revealed at a press junket for the movie recently that the character he was talking about was indeed Adam Warlock, and that Warlock had been cut to make more room for the Mantis character. But what's even more depressing than that is that Warlock's not even going to show up in Infinity War. As confirmed by James Gunn, he's not in Infinity War, but he will be a part of the future Marvel Cosmic Universe, and a pretty important part of that. Kevin Feige later clarified that statement with the claim that if he appears anywhere in the future, it'll be in Guardians. Which kind of sucks. I know I was super excited to see Warlock physically pop up during the Infinity Gauntlet throwdown like he did in the comics. I mean, I guess this isn't the first time everybody was disappointed he didn't physically show up in a Guardians movie. I mean, remember when everybody thought this thing had Warlock in it? The next couple of scenes don't really have anything special to talk about, but I'm going to bring them up anyway. The third scene shows Kraglin, this guy, in case you forgot his name, playing around with Yondu's detached fin and accidentally shooting an arrow into Drax, which I'm sure goes very well. And scene 4 shows a slightly grown-up baby Groot, so I guess he's Teen Groot now, playing video games aboard the Milano. Apparently, he also starts showing off more stereotypically teenage behavior during this scene, mouthing off to Star-Lord as he's being told to clean his room. So I'm wondering how much of a pain he'll be to work with by the time Avengers Infinity War starts. I don't know, maybe it won't be that bad since Infinity War is supposed to take place 4 years after this movie, and Groot seems to age pretty quickly, so who knows. Now the fifth scene though, that's the big one here, because not only is it a Stan Lee cameo, but we also see that he's hanging out with the Watchers. I'm not making this up, check this out, look at this thing. Technically he has 2 cameos in this movie. The first one is during the course of the movie when we see him telling the Watchers about all the things he's seen and done on Earth as Rocket and Yondu fly by. Funny enough, he actually mentions being a FedEx guy before somehow getting shot into space. But by the time the credits roll, I guess even the Watchers realize they have a breaking point because they end up just walking away from him because he's talking too much. So does this mean that Stan the Man Lee is actually Uatu as many people have theorized? Not a chance. I mean, yeah, he's hanging out with the Watchers, and the question of how he got there if he's just some random guy is a valid one, but at the same time, why would Stan care if the other Watchers are gonna leave him there? If he's a Watcher too, why wouldn't he shapeshift and go with them? Or fly away or something? And people honestly think he's a Uatu just because he's sitting there with other Watchers? Come on, it's not that hard to figure out it isn't true. Alright guys, that's all the Easter eggs, references, and spoilers I could give you, short of just reading the entire plot of the movie in this video, which is on Wikipedia, by the way, in case you feel like reading the entire movie before you go to see it. If you liked what you heard and you're ready to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 next week on May 5th, then let me know in the comments below. And if you've already seen it, what'd you think about it? Let me know that too. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to click that like button, maybe leave me a comment while you're at it, and go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to check out any of my social media pages. I've got a Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. All those links are going to be in the description below. And I've also got my last video right there in the middle of your screen. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and click it, check it out. Alright, and I will see you all next time.